right, gentlemen. We didn't have a meeting yesterday, so let's do a little bit catching up today. Mr. Sean, are you able to talk right now, or are you not able to talk? Good, sir.
Yeah, I can speak.
You take any trades yesterday and today?
Took some yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And I blew
On
my
the funded?
funded.
No! What the hell, bro? How?
Cooked.
Okay, what the hell went wrong here? Okay, that's not good.
Kept going up, man. Kept trying to short the all-time high.
So you blew it when? Yesterday or today?
Yesterday.
Okay, first of all, you remember when we first started all this, how we said we're gonna size small and kind of size up as
Yeah,
we
I
learn more?
still have never sized like more than a mini,
Mm-hmm.
but I stayed in too long.
How much are you sizing?
Never more than one mini.
That's
That's
still a
it.
lot, bro. I'm not gonna lie. In these market conditions, 1 minute is a lot. Honestly, bro, if like I said, since we are still, learning everything, I would say realistic amount you want to be sizing, especially since you already, you beat the eval, you got to the funded stage. Definitely take your time on the funded. On the evals, it's fine to size up a bit because it is an eval, but on the fundeds, you
Mm.
definitely want to size down and actually like value the account. So I definitely would have like just stuck to 2 to 3 micros for surely. I mean, it's all right, we live and we learn, but for next time,
Yeah,
definitely I'd
I'm
recommend
gonna
sizing down.
paper trade.
Yeah,
Gonna paper
cause
trade for a while before I take another eval though.
yeah, it's all good. Um, because I mean, how many days did it take you past that funded?
Two.
Hold on, guys.
For sure. Um, all right. And what trades mainly was it that like that cooked you yesterday? It was just trying to short. You kept trying to play shorts at every like previous high or what?
Yeah, exactly that.
I see. So you remember one of the basic things we've always talked about, right? The trend is always a friend, man. And I know it sucks because like you see price like this, you're like, dude, we're at all-time highs. There's no way we're gonna keep breaking highs and going higher. But at the end of the day, the market does not give a fuck what you think. And if price goes higher than previously does, you kind of just gotta play the trend. That's why all-time highs are definitely tricky because you're kind of playing based on no data, and that's where you gotta really use the RSI. But yeah, it was really kind of difficult to trade the past 2 days, especially since we made new all-time highs both days. But in days like those, you definitely got to size down, especially if you're still, getting the grasp of it. But days like those do suck. But there was some decent setups. Like, I mean, most of them were just long setups, but it was just a couple long setups, and then, I mean, it was just chop. Even today, bro, it was pretty fucking choppy. After that dump in the morning, like, dude, this was just straight chop of doom for, like, the whole New York session. There wasn't much trades. When you took your trades, what would you base your entries off, Sean? And be honest with yourself. If you were
Yeah,
just
so
taking
I
them
was
for the
looking
love of
at
the
my.
game, just let me know if you're just taking them for no reason. Kind of just want to pick your brain here.
Yeah, so I would be looking at like all right, we were at this is where we're currently at as the highest. Let's
Mm-hmm.
see if we get to there, and it would reject, right, and then I would say, okay, if it breaks this low, then I'm gonna go ahead and jump in, and it would break the low, and close below it like just a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and but then it would just, that would have just been a retest, and then it just skyrocket from there.
Okay, I see. And the previous low you were basing it on, what time frame were you looking at for your previous low? Were you looking at the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute?
5 minute.
Okay, 5 minute. And would you wait for candle closes or would you just enter on the spot?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. Like it would
Mm-hmm.
close below that previous low. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is a good time to enter. Now I'd go ahead and enter there. But then it would just keep coming up from there and never come back to it.
Okay, for sure. So in uptrend days like this, like for example, I'm pretty sure like this was kind of maybe one time you went short. Like, do you know around what time you went short? Like any time frames? Like, did you go short around 6:30, 7 Eastern? Like, around what time did you go short? Do you know?
Go to this one here, to the left, to the left, to the left. Yeah, this one here.
Mm.
I entered
Okay, so I
like
see a
that
couple
valley
things.
right there.
One thing right off rip I can tell you is you're entering before New York session even opens, which is always going to be risky. Remember, it's nice to always wait for that first 15 minutes of New York session to open to kind of see where price goes. But continue on, my fault.
But yeah, you see how we did close below. I'm like, okay, this seems like a good time to enter. But we just blew up after that.
Okay, a couple things we got to notice here. We did technically close above these previous highs, but then the next candle basically sold us back down in that range. Boom, boom, boom. Technically speaking, on the bigger time frame, if you zoom out, we are still in an uptrend. You kind of see how we're still in an uptrend?
Yeah.
The only thing that kind of did like give you an entry for short here, I would say, is this 5-minute was topped out. But then you can see when we did come to these lows, we were already almost bottomed out. And remember, when that does happen, it's just looking like a bullish reset, especially if you're going to New York Open and your RSI is bottomed out or topped out. You always want to kind of wait to see what happens, see if the RSI overextends or does actually flatten out and bottom out. Because then you can see like right near New York session open, volume picks up, boom, we get this big fuck you candle. So right off rip, you would have been able to tell, we're breaking pre-market highs, and then we get this big bullish candle. And then say you would have waited for that first 15 minutes, like you would have seen that we were clearly in an uptrend. And then we do get this retrace to 5-minute trauma, and then kind of just chopped our way up. There wasn't much, honestly, for Monday. It was kind of like just that pump at open and then just chop. So, I mean, I don't really blame you. But I would be careful with taking trades before New York session open, especially like if it's like 5:30 through 6:30. Because that's one thing I see with a lot of people that are getting into trading. They try to trade after hours too much, and after hours honestly is dog shit, bro. If I gotta put in the shortest term, after hours is just completely dog shit. I would stick to just New York session until you get the hang of it, and then transition into after hours. But it's all right. Stuff does happen. And another thing is always wait for the break of the kilos. So in this case scenario, I would probably wait for a break of that 129 here, because we do have a level there. And it's the break of this bottom range and the break of this wick low. So I would probably would have waited for that break, and then that's also this bottom trend line that would have broke. It's a lot easier said now that it actually happened, but in real time, it's harder to determine.
Yeah. No, I like analyzed it like so many times in hindsight. Like, bro, what was I thinking? But yeah,
fine.
you know what they say, hindsight 2020, man.
Yeah. And then what did the 15 look like there? So that 15 looked a bit more bearish just because we do get this wick above, and then 15 does close. It still technically closes really bullish because we closed above this previous high. And then this next 15 was this was a nasty candle. We created a lot of liquidity. Closed. Technically, this is not a bad close. Close right at those highs, and the next candle does give us the volume to break above these previous highs and finally close there. Then we chop and then get our full break. That 15 was also topped out, or not fully topped out, but it was approaching the top of the band. So I think the key mistake here was just not waiting for New York session. Other than that, it was just kind of unpredictable area there. And today, did you paper trade or take any trades today?
No, not today.
For sure. Yeah, today was also basically a rinse and repeat of yesterday. There wasn't much. It was pretty bad. No real setups here, especially since we're at all-time highs. Mr. Brian, any trades for you, good sir?
No, I didn't trade anything today.
Not even any paper trades or anything yesterday either?
Nah, not yesterday. I was just looking at it
For
and
sure.
said, since you said the all-time highs are hard, I was like, didn't really want to see.
Yeah, no, it's
I was
good.
just checking it out, I guess.
Yeah, and you could kind of see it was pretty bad. All-time highs are always going to be your trickiest areas to trade. Honestly, it's almost best to just stay away from them or wait for retraces minimum and not try to catch tops for shorts. And just my biggest tip will be, and when we're around all-time highs, just wait for retraces to long. What I realize is playing shorts and all-time highs is usually really hard, and you got to have really good confluences for shorts. But eventually there is some setups. I'll show a setup that we could have taken at these highs that did present itself yesterday in a bit. But all right, Miss Cam, any trades?
Yo,
I do have.
I took 3 trades today, on gold. My first one, I went break even. I was kind of in red beforehand, so I just put its break even, stopped out, and it would have been fine. But then the next two, I went long, and that was a win. And the next one was shorting off of the break of the lows. We took the same one, and I got the very bottom tick for my
Nice.
TP.
Nice. The first one you took, do you know around what time it was? I just want to see the setup you took.
It was around market open.
So 6:30 my time.
It was a little bit early. It was like right before that pullback at market open.
And you went long, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got this
My
nice
first position was like
look at this,
29, I think.
29.
My next one was 31.
So see, that's good. You basically played the break of the trend, and this is where a lot of people are scared to take trades. It's good that I actually like that you took this trade, because one thing people have bad, like, not bad habits, but they're scared to do is, like, play the trend, because, like, they say, oh, we already ripped, like, we're probably not going to keep ripping. But in this case, there's a lot of bullish confluences. You break this trend line, you're breaking 1 minute trauma, breaking those previous highs. The 1 minute RSI does open up, and we break that RSI high as well on the one. See what the 5 minute was doing. That 5 minute bottomed out, flattened out, yeah, and then we start breaking median, 5 minute trauma as well, and then we do top out, and then you reject at this top trend line. So where did you TP on this?
I think like 33 or 32, 33 area.
32,
Like
33
small
area.
scalp.
For sure. You definitely had a little bit more upside, but you kind of just played it safe. That's not bad, because we did end up coming back down to, I think, around your entry there at 5 minute trauma and then bouncing. So I mean, that was solid scalp. Let's see what the 15 was doing as well. It's 15, 630. So we did reject median, so yeah, that was a good area to technically like start looking for a trim slash TP, because we failed to break median and topped out a median, gonna reset. We had flattened out on the 15 and the RSI bottom, break back above 15 minute trauma. Yeah, there's pretty solid trade. A lot of confluences on every time frame. See what the hourly was doing. And that hourly did have a wick of doom at 8. Holy, so 6 o'clock. This hourly really didn't have nothing going on. The 4 hour, other than that big wick after, not really much. But yeah, on the 15, 5 and 1 there was decent confluences. And
oh yeah, I forgot. I also took a trade on NQ.
What was the NQ trade?
I took a long. I got in at 35 and I sold at like 46.
35.
A quick scalp bounce.
Do you know around what time?
It was about like noon-ish.
Noon-ish. That's like
So
10
like
o'clock my time.
10 for you.
Oh, okay, so I think I actually took that same trade. That's the one we took. Yeah, I took that same trade at right around 5:20. That one, right, when Z joined VC. So yeah, got that nice little scalperoonie on the break of 5 minute trauma. The 1 minute had a reset, and this 15 was approaching median.
I think I interrupted you by accident. My bad.
Oh no, you're good. But yeah, that was a pretty solid trade. That's fucking diabolical how like that trade is like probably one of the best setups for New York session. That was like only like 15 points. That shows you how bad the price action was today. But that was like the break of this little consolidation to the downside, and nice little break of the top trend line there. But I mean, there was really no other setups. Like there was scalps on the 1 minute, but it was just kind of like you would have to wait like 30 minutes for 10 points. It was just some measly ass movement today. But every day is not going to be an amazing day, and that's fine. All right.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Galaxy, Mr. Galaxy, are you here, good sir?
Yeah. So today was a pretty rough day. I lost the funding.
No.
Yeah.
What happened?
I feel like three things contributed to it. So the first was just like my mistake. So the first time I had left the open order,
okay,
and I lost, but I recovered from that.
And what was
Second
that, gold or
time
Nasdaq?
it happened again. Like, what?
Was it on gold or Nasdaq?
It was on Nasdaq, I think. But the second time it was on gold. And then yeah, I got kind of cooked on gold too. I told you about it, right? I lost a
Yeah,
thousand from 2 micro.
it's crazy.
But yeah, it was those two mistakes were like really big on my part. And the third mistake I made was just today I was taking pretty low quality setups. Like all the set like high quality setups that I saw, I either missed, like I just barely missed it because I was in class or doing something else.
Hmm.
And then I ended up taking the low quality setups, which obviously didn't play out. And then just now I had like 250 in drawdown left, so I took a gold play. I tried playing longs off 15-minute trauma because the 15-minute was bottomed out and the
Hmm.
hourly was bottomed out,
Yeah.
but then
So you tried taking
yeah,
the
it just
risky
straight
entry on that, John. And
yeah.
honestly, you know, that wasn't a bad trade. It was you just kind of have to have a tight stop loss there because that kind of lined up with the break of like we're breaking 15-minute median and we broke that bottom trend line. But I mean, also had broken 5-minute trauma. That was just one of those nasty dumps. So
I see it.
just trying to hold this
Yeah.
key level here. These were the lows we held yesterday. So we just start to hold these lows and start breaking back over like 720. We might be able to catch a long around that area.
But yeah, another thing like that I've been struggling with is there's no levels at all-time highs. I don't know
Yeah.
what levels to mark, where to
Hmm.
take plays off of.
Yeah, that's where
So
honestly RSI is gonna be your best friend all time highs, and it sucks, bro. Cause like honestly, like if you look at a lot of people do end up getting cooked in all time highs. Like I think the most amount of losses I ever have taken, like on a losing streak, probably has been an all time high. I remember one time, like in like 2023 January when it was all time highs, like I literally have PTSD from that shit. Good thing I blew like I had like 1.8 million in funding in CFD accounts, and I like blew all of it in the span of like 2 weeks, just trying to trying to short all time
jeez.
highs. So yeah, that's where you kind of just have to like it sucks, but you just have to be patient and wait for like the trend setup. So like a long setup on on this and
Yeah, I saw like the big dump coming too. I wish I took it. I was looking for longs instead, so I didn't take the big dump. I thought I was just gonna pull back a little bit and then retrace back up the all-time highs.
yeah, but definitely if you are
But
taking
yeah,
shorts, you gotta have like either like a hard stop loss and it has to be like a pretty tight
mm,
stop. Like I'd say max 20 points because like once Nasdaq gets like starts breaking highs and buyers start stepping in, man, it's just rip after rip. But I will say this is definitely some of the hardest times to trade, so don't feel too bad. But I mean, like you said, that mistake is kind of just like, a learning experience. I used to do that a lot, bro. You're kind of gonna learn like you. It's almost like impossible to set trades and like walk away. I used to like sleep with trades open and shit like that, and it just never really ends well. I would always just recommend uh, being able to actively like monitor your trades when you're in a trade, just so
yeah,
stuff like that
yeah, for
doesn't
sure.
happen.
But I feel like I need to start taking higher quality setups
Hmm.
because
Realistically, there's
yeah, if
probably
I
only
just
maybe three, and like the whole like pre-market to New York session close. There's usually only like three, eight
mhm,
plus setups in a day,
yeah,
sometimes even less. But it's really hard to get
exactly.
those.
Yeah, and I ended up taking the lower quality ones. I feel like I haven't been waiting as much. I've been like more anxious to get into a trade, so that's also like another thing I gotta work on.
Yeah, definitely. It's good. It's good that you're noticing that though. But yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just gonna be watching the charts, just fucking do nothing, and you know, sometimes it's best to not trade.
Hmm.
But yeah, all time highs, eh? Alright, I think that is everybody that is in PC right now. Yeah. So the big thing tomorrow, FOMC, good old FOMC. Honestly, there's not much we can say about this other than we are at all-time highs. I will say, once New York session does open, if we do sell off before the meeting comes out, we get a nice little reset on our bigger time frame. Say the 4 hour to median, the hourly is already bottomed out, right? If we can hold these highs and the news does come out like pretty bullish, when Powell's speaking, like he does say bullish things, I do think we could see a new all-time high again tomorrow. I will say news trading is always risky. I think volume is going to be pretty low going into tomorrow up until like the meeting, like an hour before the meeting. But honestly, every time frame definitely does look bullish. I do think we could see a little bit of retrace on this 4 hour though. and this daily is topped out. So we'll see what happens, because this could be the top for now as well. We kind of don't really know since it is news related. But I will say tomorrow, definitely be careful. And I honestly wouldn't really even recommend trading unless you're sizing like 1 to 2 micros. So we're probably going to see like a maybe I'd say 300 point range tomorrow, realistically speaking, from the high to the low. Same thing on gold. I mean, finally it's trying to get a retrace. I would love to see it come down to this 3697 area. That'd be around that key level we have there. After that 15-minute dump though, we'll see what happens, because like I said, we're at yesterday's lows. So if we do hold here, we're probably just gonna retrace those highs and wait for FOMC. I would like to see us come down to this area and see how we hold, because if we do hold this and then start breaking back above, we'll have a nice little bullish channel there, and then probably see more upside for FOMC. Other than that, I don't see much, man. It's really hard trading at all-time highs, especially going to a major news event. I would definitely be careful though, because a lot of people think it's already priced in, and I kind of agree. When you look at our past week, right, past 5 days, and you just look how much we've ripped, that's almost, which points is that? Almost 1,000 points in a week. So we definitely have some room down if we do get some bad news. So I mean, trend is just gonna be our friend tomorrow. I'm probably not gonna take any trades until the news comes out, and then I'm just gonna play whatever the trend is. And on news days, that 1 minute, bro, is OP. It is so key with entries, trims, and exits. So I'm definitely gonna be utilizing this a lot tomorrow when news does come out. But yeah, do you guys have any questions about good old FOMC tomorrow or anything of that sort?
In general, like when a market's either pumping really hard or dumping, when would you expect it to like pull back if all the RSIs are overextended?
That's where RSI levels come in handy. But the thing is, with high volatility news, like the RSI levels could just be broken pretty quickly. So usually when you do, like, say you have confluences with, like, you know, say for some reason we dump from this 499 all the way to this 159, right? And this 159 matches up with the key of 4 hour or 15 minute RSI level. You could possibly take a lot along off that. For example, say we're at this like 20.05 area on the RSI on the 15, and we're at this 159 area. Could technically take a lot along there and have a tight stop, like a 20-point stop, or if you want to have a bigger stop and size small, one right under your next key level, so 129, so that'd be like 30-point stop loss.
So let's say like the bands are still opening up and they're like completely open, but then the RSI came back into the band. So what does that mean?
So you're saying like on what time frame, the 5 minute, 15, or the bigger time frame?
Just in general. Usually I've seen it like 15 today.
Yeah,
15
so
today.
like this. Right, remember,
Yeah,
usually
so
when the RSI overextends, that means like 95% of the time it's gonna mean we're in a falling, like what you would call a falling knife, just straight downwards movement. And that you can see that's kind of what happened out open, right? We just got that fat sell off. So usually, to prevent you from entering in this downside, when you see something like this, you always wait. You always wait for the RSI to start flattening out and the bands to start curling like they did here. And you can see when the RSI did start to get back in the band and the band started to flatten out, that's when we actually did get our bottom right around there. And then you can see that's when we started breaking the RSI high here, we did get our nice little move to upside.
Yeah.
Volume
When
was really
I was
low
looking
though.
at the charts, when I was looking at the charts at that time,
Mm-hmm.
the RSI was like back inside the band, and the bands were still like a lot.
Like they were opening, huh? Yeah, so since it's the 15 minute, remember the RSI is a delayed indicator, so technically it's not gonna update until the candles start closing. And since it was really choppy, like it slowly grinded its way back up. So when you see that, you kind of want to come over to your 5, right? And that's the thing about today, like there was really no setup, to be honest. Like, there was quite literally nothing. You can see the 5 minute bottomed out, right? We start resetting, literally chop at median for almost 2 hours, bro. This was literally just chopping at median for 2 hours. And then this was the long we took, and this was a key reason why we took it, right? We're breaking that RSI high there. We're breaking 5-minute trauma, breaking that top trend line, and then boom, the band do start opening up, and I TP at 940. It was almost top tick. It's pretty good TP. The main reason I did TP around that area was because the 5-minute was topping out, and it was overextended now, so I was expecting us to come back in the band, and that 15 was approaching median. And we did get the move up, and then just kind of reset to median. Not much, but on that 15, right, when the 15 was trying to curl back inside the band, you can see the 5 already has curled back inside the band after that sell-off, and it's trying to, you know, flatten out. So the 5 will always react before the 15, but the thing you got to be careful with is the 5-minute could technically just, like, you know, be a quick retrace, so it could retrace and then keep dumping on the 15. So you always got to look at both time frames when you're trying to catch like a big dump or short on a big pump. Because if you would have waited, because you could have kind of almost bottom ticked this. Well, there was technically no level. Like, this didn't really look like a good long at all until we started breaking back with the highs, because technically we had broken these pre-market lows, and it looked like we were going to dump all the way back down here to fill this gap. But I mean, volume was just dead, even with sellers. Like, there was no sellers or buyers today. It was kind of just choppy. So I never took that short. I mean, like, once we broke those lows, we should have saw like heavy sellers step in, and it kind of didn't. And then the R side started flattening out. Same thing on this 5-minute. You can see, like, when we break key levels, usually the R side starts overextending, and then the 5-minute just kind of slowly grinded down, held median the whole time. Well, I mean, there was no real setup today. I think this was just bad. Any other setups I took today? The gold trade. But yeah, this was just bad, bro. Like, I mean, like, you could, there was so many fake outs. Like, 5-minute looked like it was finally gonna break out, rejects 5-minute trauma. Retrace, try to break out again, reject, try to break out again, reject. You can see 5-minute trauma was pretty clutch today. This whole downside, we never broke above it once. When we finally did break above it, that's when we did take our long around this area. Then we caught the move up, and then held 5-minute trauma for the rest of the day. And we're trying to finally break below it actually right now, so we'll see what happens. But honestly, I don't have much going into tomorrow. It's kind of really tricky trading news, especially at all-time highs. So my only advice going into tomorrow would be to not size heavy at all. Even before the news comes out, I would just de-risk, honestly. Like, I personally, even on my equity, I trimmed basically on my Tesla, on my MU. I haven't trimmed Nvidia yet because I'm not too green on it. But I mean, I think, like, especially when you're at all-time highs, when the big news event, like, this could be the top if the news doesn't come out good, which would not be good. But that would be good technically for day trading because it'll give us more setups down here and more data. But yeah, I mean, we kind of just gotta wait for tomorrow. See what Mr. Powell has to say. You guys have any questions about any trades you guys took today or anything?
So I tried taking another trade as well, but I got stopped at break even
On gold
on
or Nasdaq?
MQ today, Nasdaq. So it was during a Asia session, so like a while back. But I tried shorting at the break of the trend line on, I think, the 5 and 15 minute. You can see it pretty clearly.
Are you talking about like this little?
But yeah,
little jump?
yeah, I just kind of got chopped up into it.
Yeah, I mean, it technically is closed under, and this 15 looks kind of nasty on the RSI.
Yeah.
I don't really know what's going on here. We'll see. It's either gonna flatten out, and then just gonna be create liquidity on the 4-hour probably, or we're gonna have a dump of doom before New York session. This 4 hours trying to reset a bit. We do have this bottom divergence forming. RSI is, or I mean, the Bollinger Bands are flat on the 4-hour though, so It's
Wait,
not.
can you mark out the divergence?
Yeah, it's just. See this little divergence we do have there.
Oh yeah.
And then, I actually want to talk about that 5-minute divergence we had. I don't expect nobody to have caught this because like it was like fucking 2 a.m. in the morning. For some reason, I was awake, playing Rust. So if we come over here on this 5-minute, right? This is why I say like we have no levels here, legit nothing, no levels, nothing. But if we would have came out to our RSI, what do we notice, right? First things first, Bollinger Bands are flat, right? And then peep this, peep this. Look at this high here, right? This 46. Then look at the RSI high here, and look at price, right? Price was higher, and the RSI wasn't higher here. We'll had a nice little bearish divergence there. You guys see that?
So when price does something like that where
Mhm.
price is higher but RSI is not as high,
Yeah.
or price is lower but RSI is higher,
Mhm.
what does that mean? Like,
It's just indication that you know, we're higher in price, and there's not more buyers here. Like technically speaking, the RSI should be higher
okay.
because there should be more buyers because we're at a higher
So
price.
would you trust price action or would you trust the RSI?
That's a good question. It depends on the situation. Most of the time, I'd say price action is right more than the RSI. Because like in this case, right, you could say, oh, look at that candle, we break and close above these highs, right? See how we break and close above these highs? So a lot of people be like, oh, we're probably gonna see more continuation. But the bands were flat, and then we did have this divergence, and then we were topped out on basically every time frame. It's just one of those trickier setups. I personally wouldn't take this. Like I would not take this. But Bear did take this, and it did play out. This is one of those risky setups, because technically, like, where do you even have a stop loss in this situation, right? 'Cause there's no. This is legit all-time high. There's no data. So I mean, your best hope is probably just having a 10-15 point stop loss. But that's just one of those risky biscuit trades, and we end up breaking this bottom divergence here. So this would have honestly gave me more confidence to take the short. Like say I don't catch that top, right? See us breaking this bottom divergence, and then the bands open up, and then the RSI overextends. So I would like to take the entry. I would like this entry better here when we break this, and then start breaking below these lows. And then that 5-minute trauma was also breaking around that time. Yeah, so we do break under 5-minute trauma as well around that time, when that 15-minute divergence starts breaking. And then we basically reset to median here in this, create a nice little bear flag, and then had a divergence here. We break the divergence, get more continuation to the downside. This would probably be your entry with confirmation here, taking out here on the break of this. This would probably be this would be a lot easier to catch than this. This is like some next level shit, bro, catching this. But this is a lot easier to catch. So you get your consolidation, you get your time to enter, you have your divergence forming, you have your reset to median. You can have a key stop loss above those highs. It's more easier to take this trade than that trade. But yes, Mr. Galaxy, any more questions about anything, or anybody else? Any more questions about anything?
I'm good for now.
Sure. And have you tried charting or looking at any stocks with this strat yet, a Galaxy, or not yet?
No, I haven't yet.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, I think that's about it for today. Coinbase shares are up if anyone took them as well. It's looking really good. Dude, I should be taking calls on these stocks, man. I'd be up dog shit. If I would have took calls on Coinbase, if I would have took calls on MU, on Tesla, dude, percentages would have been absurd. Gotta start getting back into options. But yeah, I think that's about it for today. If you guys don't have any questions about anything.
I just have one question.
Mm-hmm.
So, today was the second day recently since I've been trying to really look for divergences,
Mm-hmm.
and this is the second time that I've seen it happen in real time.
Mm-hmm.
And still, I mean, haven't been able to catch it yet. This one was like I was closer than I ever have been before. It was like just like a timing thing. But if there's any more advice to like catching stuff like that,
Mm-hmm. So you saw the divergence, right?
yeah.
Did you draw it out before it happened or after it happened?
Before,
Which one was it? The one on gold that you sent?
yeah, yeah,
So I mean, if the setup is there, right? I mean, you should take it because the setup was there. I saw that your entry was good and your TP would have hit, right? That was the one where you didn't enter, but you had your TP in.
yeah,
And I mean, it was a 3-1 because you were risking 190 for like 600 profits. So, you know, it was a solid setup because you had a small stop. It was valid. You were getting in on the retrace. It was pretty good. You were playing the breakout of a 5-minute median, so solid.
hmm
I would honestly say that would probably be a B, maybe even B plus setup. It's pretty good. Because you had I'd say the only thing that was missing in that situation would be like a key level since we're around all-time highs. Other than that, I think it had every confidence to be a good trade. Because we broke a median, broke trauma, broke those previous highs. We were bottomed out. Remember, we always want to see when, I forgot who asked, I think it was Sean. Our best setups always come when the R side is bottomed out or topped out. And we bottomed out on the 15 and the 5 on gold there, so it's pretty solid.
So if it like just misses me by like a point or something, or that candle's pumping right before I put down my limit, because sometimes that happens.
Mm-hmm.
So do you think I should just market fill and just take it? Because
If
then it's like
you have
sometimes it
high
fucks up
upside for it,
the rate.
yes. If you have high upside for it,
Okay.
yes. So say you think it's like a really good setup and you're actually gonna be able to catch, say, like 5-10 points out of it, and not just like 1 to 2 points, then I would do it. But if you think it's only gonna maybe run like 1 to 2 points, then I wouldn't, because there's a chance you just like top ticking and become exit
Yeah.
liquidity. So it
Yeah.
depends on the situation. Like in this case, I would say that would be a risky one to market fill, but not so much, because technically if we would have broke out here, right? If we would have broke these highs, we for surely would have 100% seen like a short squeeze to the upside. But seller stepped in heavy at those previous highs. But if we would have broken close above those highs, it for surely probably would have seen a like 5-point rip. Even right now, it looks like gold actually is looking like a long John setup here. A couple of reasons, right? Remember, we want to see our RSI bottom out, flatten out. You guys see how the RSI was overextended, comes back in the band, and now the Bollinger Band is flat. RSI is back in the band. We did a couple things here, right? We create our low, higher low, higher low, and now we created a nice liquidity there, and now we're breaking these highs, right? Let's see what our 15 is doing. Our 15 is also coming back inside the band and flattening out, and we did the same thing here, creating that liquidity. We held yesterday's lows, closing above the 716.8 area. See what the 1 minute is doing. The 1 minute is topped out though, so kind of want to see what this 1 minute does here, because we could technically top out here and fail to break out. But if we do break and close above here, this is not looking like a bad area to long. I wouldn't long it yet. I'd wait for your break and close above, because this could be just a retrace for more downside. And
Why do you say that we held yesterday's lows?
this area right here, and this area.
Yeah.
Like that, basically, because we don't have any key levels around here, right? It's just around this. Remember, levels are just points of interest, so it's not gonna be like 716 at the dot, but this whole like area, this kind of has been major support on gold. The second we start breaking this, like say we break the 712, I think we dump all the way to 697. Like I can almost like guarantee you we'll go to 697 when we do break those lows. So those previous lows are always going to be really important, especially when like you don't have key levels here, since it's all-time highs. So as long as buyers are stepping in where they previously were, it's probably just going to see more upside. But the second buyers fail to step in where they previously were, sellers are going to like just fucking shit on this. Like it's going to dump hard. And this could technically still happen, because like I said, until we do break and close above here, this could just H pattern, and then you catch the short on the break of these lows. Like if we do start breaking these lows, I would like, pretty sure I'm going to take a short on this if we do break those lows, because that'll be a solid H pattern. Remember, H pattern is just a move down, consolidation, we create this H shaboing, and there's technically two entries to this. There's a top, so you could take a lot of short here and have a tight stop, But the reason I'm not taking a short is because that 5 and 15, right? So that's where a lot of people get confused. Like they'll be like, oh, why aren't you shorting this? But that 5 and 15 are looking more bullish than they are bearish, right? Because look, it's flattening out. RSI's back in the band. We're testing median, trying to break those highs. So that's the main reason I'm not looking for short here, even though we're at the previous area. This would be where you take your lotto short, but I just don't really like it for a short. I'd rather play the longs on the break and just wait for that. And if that doesn't happen, it's all right. I'll just wait for the break of these lows to short it.
So again, in this case, like the 15 minutes still opening up, right?
No, now it's
Or
trying
is
to
it
flatten out.
trying to
It's
flatten
trying to
out?
flatten out. Because you see how it's curling back in now and trying to flatten out
Yeah.
there. Yeah, so if this 15 does close above here, this next one has 12 minutes still, it probably will like fully be flat now, and then it could be a full reset. And technically it's not a bullish reset yet, because if you look at the last time we were bottomed out and last time we were topped out, we technically didn't really go anywhere. We're still in this just big range here, so it's technically not a bullish reset. So it's kind of just gotta wait and see what happens for now. But it
So
could
that wouldn't
possibly
be
be a bullish.
bullish or bearish.
Yeah, this is kind of a neutral
Right now?
reset. This is just in a range
Okay.
reset. But say
I didn't know
price.
there was neutral resets.
Yeah, because sometimes like the RSI will top out, bottom out, and it'll just be in a range. Like you can see right here, right? We bottomed out, topped out, bottomed out, topped out, and we just stayed in this big range. Hypothetically speaking, say we do hold this, and then the RSI does top out, like say up here, when price is up here, and the next time we come back down here, when the RSI is bottomed out, then that could be a bearish reset. Or say, you know, we top out here, and the next time we bottom out, we're here, then that would be a bullish reset. But we just kind of gotta wait for us to break this big range. But these resets, that doesn't mean you can't play these resets. These are still like playable resets. Like you could still catch like setups on these resets. Like you can see like this lined up perfectly with this bottom divergence. 15 was bottomed out. Create this wick under here, and then we reverse. I was actually short, trying to catch a short on this break of this divergence, and then I got stopped out. This was losing trade. Took this yesterday when this candle didn't break those lows, and that's where waiting for candle closures could be really important. If I would have waited for this candle to close, I would never technically enter this trade. But see, we did flatten out there, held that bottom divergence here, and then we fully reversed. I had my stop loss like right at these highs, and I was trying to catch the move all the way back down to this 97 area down here. See what Nasdaq's doing. Yeah, so we're still under that trend line on Nasdaq Galaxy. So that was a good trade. Galaxy was just like you said, kind of just chopped. I mean, you know, still slowly grinding down. Even then, that's only like 20 points. But we did break and close. So this 15 does overextend and open up. We might have more downside all the way to that 499 area. And then around that area, I will look for longs, as this is our previous low, New York session low. But other than that, I really wouldn't look for anything here, unless we start reversing before this low here, and then we start breaking these highs and these highs. Then we might just get a higher low here, and then start breaking these highs. Kind of just gotta wait for probably London session for volume to pick up and see what we do.
So on gold, the 5 minute like bands are curling in, but the 15 minute looks like it's continuing to open up even more.
Like I said, we kind of just gotta wait for that 15 minutes to close, because it kind of goes with the candles. Because if we close under, right, even though we're right at the band, it could just keep opening up like you said, and we have failed to break that little area where we do want to break for a long. And then what could happen on this 5 minute is a bearish reset to median, right? We could see more continuation because we are forming this bottom divergence now on gold here. So we could end up breaking that and then seeing more downside. Does that kind of make sense?
I see that.
And this break of this divergence will more than likely line up with the break of these lows. If it does do that. But I think after hours trading is evil. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I would probably stay away from it. If anything, just
Yeah, I think I'm gonna start avoiding it for a bit, and then
Nasdaq
the
might get hit.
setups are there, just chops before it gets to the setup. That's the only problem.
Yeah. Like I can almost guarantee once, like I know it's kind of obvious, but like when we do break these lows, we're probably gonna see downside. When we do break these highs, we'll see upside. But it's just in a range. It's in a range right here, and we're just waiting for the breakout of the range. Like I said, that top area would be your area for that lotto short. It's just I really don't like the lotto short because of the RSI on the 15 and the 5. But we'll see what happens. Like hypothetically speaking, if you would have took that, right, you would have been able to top tick it and then just have a tight stop, probably above 5-minute trauma. But I do think we break those highs. Like I said, there's always
Where do
gonna
you
be.
typically take your entries? Is it at like previous highs or lows, or at
Depends if I'm trying
trauma?
to like catch the bottom of a range or top of a range or like a breakout of a range, right? So if I would have taken like tried catching along here, there's realistically I probably would have entered somewhere around this area, like for your bottom entry, and then probably just had to stop right under those lows. And then if the entry I'm looking for right now is a break of these highs for this is your entry like confirmation. It's kind of not looking too good because we're probably gonna go to trauma and then might reject there. We'll see.
Yeah, so in that case,
Mm-hmm.
if you were still wanting to long, would you wait for the break and then retest of that and then long there, or
Technically,
what would you do?
sometimes I'll look at the 1 minute. Hypothetically speaking, I haven't even clicked the 1 minute yet, right? If this 1 minute is bottomed out, this long would not be bad to enter here. Let's see. So see, no, it's not bottomed out. So it is at median, so I wouldn't enter here. If the 1 minute would have been bottomed out around these highs, that would have just been a bullish reset on the one. And it probably would have gave us room up. But since it is at median, we could probably see more downside to those lows. So I probably wouldn't look for a long here at all until we do break those highs. Like even for a lotto entry, because you could take a lotto entry off 1 minute trauma and 1 minute median, but it's just not. It's not a good entry, to be honest. I'd rather wait for the entry with confirmation. So you have that
I'll
divergence.
set an
for a
alert
reason.
for right above and right below just in case.
Then we do have that divergence.
Probably
on the 1
won't
minute.
trade it.
Yeah, it's good to like get in the habit of seeing that. And gold does this a lot. I see this with gold a lot, where it has a big move to the downside or upside, and then chops in this range, creates like a range, and then breaks out of that range. And more likely than not, that range breakout usually sees a lot of continuation. So this wouldn't be a bad trade to look for when we do break this range that we made.
Depending on volume, let's say it triggers one of my alerts. I have one at 7:11 and one at like 7:19, something like that.
I would definitely be careful though, because two things could happen, right? Say we chop here for a bit more, and then we fully reset on the 5 minute. Say for some reason next time we retest these highs, we're topped out on the 5 minute. I really wouldn't look for a long, unless like volume picks up and then the bands start opening up, and then the 15 is like breaking median. But hypothetically speaking, if this 5 does top out around these highs, then that wouldn't look as good anymore. Because what you kind of want to look for is like the break of these highs with the break of 5 minute median, so you can have nice confluence for that long. But if we are already topped out and then we are at these highs again, that's not going to look too good.
For sure.
This 15, technically, like you said, Galaxy is still opening up. It tried coming back inside the band, but it's still not flat. We have 5 minutes for that 15 to close. See what happens. Yeah, I think that's about it for today. If you guys have any more questions about anything, any stocks, anything going into tomorrow, anything strategy related.
Purple tie, right?
Purple tie, long.
Yeah, man. I just wanted to say, I know a couple funders got blown this week, but I hope you don't take that as a reflection of your teaching, because as a matter of fact, I wouldn't even have gotten to that point without the mentorship. So, got some things to work on, but
nah, bro, trust me, like it's definitely gonna happen. You have to go through trial and error. Like one funny thing is like when I got my first payout like on prop firms, it was like 2022 in like October, and then it took me almost like 8 months to get my next payout, bro. Like it's hard, especially when you're trading prop firms. 'Cause there's so many rules and so many things you gotta follow. So it's a process. You know, don't feel bad that you blew an account. It's fine. Like one payout makes up for basically all your accounts as long as you don't go overboard on them. I'll just
Yeah,
keep
that's
at it and
fact.
keep
That's
learning.
fact.
As long as you show up every
I'm
day,
just
I think you will eventually. Like I'm almost like I can almost guarantee you will get a payout as long as you actually, you know, try to learn and fix mistakes. But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Just saying, it's me. It's not you, bro. It's not you.
nah, it's fine.
Exactly.
It's both of us, bro. It's both of us. We're in this together. Yeah.
Sometimes the evil side just wins,
Yeah.
but it's a lifelong battle.
I think that's about it for today, though. The short's looking still solid, Galaxy, because we are breaking that previous week low now as well. See what happens though. Could create some liquidity on that 15. 5 minutes already trying to get bought up.
Yeah, the funny thing is I didn't have a safe stop. So I got another eval earlier,
Mhm.
like yesterday, and then I've been trying to trade that as well, but I didn't have a safe stop above the highs at like 552 would have been a safe stop, but I was in two minis, so I
That's
had a really
why.
tight
Yeah.
stop.
See, sizing big
Yeah,
sometimes
and
will
then
prevent you from catching the full trade. That's happened to me a lot too. You gotta size it with. You gotta think with your brain and think ahead. Like you gotta think of
yeah,
both sides of the trade.
the funny thing is I would have been up 750
Mm-hmm.
if I just sized with my one mini,
Yeah.
but I decided to size with two minis and then
Mm.
got stopped out like literally by 2 points.
Damn.
Yeah.
It happens. But yeah, that's why size small. Or not small, but size appropriately, If you're gonna have a wider stop loss, it's fine to size down. I'd rather you size down, have a wider stop loss, than size fucking huge and, try to basically like catch a 1 to 10. I will say gold is looking kind of solid for longs. The reason I say that is this 1 minute did reset. We're trying to hold this divergence, and we're breaking back above 1 minute trauma, and that 5 minutes still has a room up here, and it's trying to break 5 minute median, and we are making higher lows now. This 15 kind of looks funky though, but
Yeah,
I'm
that's
liking
kind
the
of what it
longs.
did on NQ today. The
Mm-hmm.
15 looked funky, but
Yeah, this is actually almost identical to what happened because that 5 minute curled back in, and then the RSI started flattening out, and the 15 was kind of still looking like this during New York session on NAS. We'll see though. I'm not gonna take anything yet. Yeah. All right, I think that's about it for today. Mr. Sean, Brian, Cam, Galaxy, if you guys don't have any more questions about anything.
Thank you, dude.
For sure. And I do want to implement more live trading. Like today we tried live trading, but man, that shit was just ass. Like there was no setups. It's kind of hard to teach when there's no setups because you don't want to force trades. Like this shit was bad today. There was no setup. But we'll try again tomorrow. There is news, so we'll see what happens. Ooh, approaching those lows on gold. Bottom trend line as well. We'll see what happens tomorrow if volume is a bit better.
oh yeah, Chris, off topic, but did you see the TJR taking a trade today?
Yeah, and he actually took
It's
the
just
same trade I tried taking, basically around that area. Because realistically speaking, that's like that. I'd say that was like kind of the setup of the day, even like just from a general aspect of it. Like no matter what strategy you trade, that's kind of like what you wait for on all-time highs. You wait for your retrace and try to long. But these wicks, bro, these wicks were legit wicks of doom, bro. Just created so much liquidity on that 15 and did nothing.
yeah, he got like absolutely cooked.
Yeah.
It went straight to stop loss.
Yeah, it was just basically like it was just stop hunting. Like these wicks are nasty. Just fake breakout every time, and then it's sad because the actual breakout we got was so ass too. It was only like 25 points. It was so bad.
Bro got fair value gap.
Yeah. And I don't even know what strat he was. Do you know what like he was trading off that? Was it a fair value gap?
He had like a fair value gap that he was trading off of.
Interesting. Yeah.
But yeah.
Ooh, this
Did
one's
you
actually looking
It
really
does
good.
wick.
Did you take your money out of KOT4?
I did.
Okay.
This is
So the
gold longs.
15 is just now coming back into the band,
Let's see.
and then the 30-minute is like trying to come into the band.
I didn't even peep the 30.
Oh, another question. Do you use the 30-minute?
Sometimes. Honestly, I should probably use it a bit more. I just kind of have really like when I learned the 15, 5, and 1, but I've slowly been implementing the 30 more. I don't really teach the 30 because I'm not really good with the 30, you know, and it's kind of like what the fuck. I mean, it's the same concepts, but I just never really like trade it, so I kind of want to get a little bit more experience with it before I start mentioning it more. But it's the same key concepts, you know, the R size bottomed out, flattened out, divergences, R side levels, same gabagoo. Some people like the 30-minute more than the 15 because what you'll notice sometimes the 15 will create a big wick and then on the 30 like it'll close and then the next candle will sell off hard and the 30-minute will just create a wick. So that is that is helpful when you're trading the 30-minute compared to the 15. But let's see what this gold trade does.
I honestly don't even really know the difference, except like the bigger time frame is just gonna tell me like the longer type plays.
Because technically, like I know it's like obvious, but like you know, like two 15s equal 130. So sometimes the 30 will create liquidity when the 15 didn't, and then the bigger time frame is always technically right. Like your bigger time frame will show you your bigger move. But
That is good to know.
and the 30 minutes sometimes closes like at key levels, like or not key levels, key time frames, like the what is it when London closes and when what is it? It's London and one other session when like they close. I think it's like a 9, 10, and the 11 at 11 is the 4-hour candle. So it's nice to look at the 30-minute when there's those key points on the candles. Like sometimes you'll see stuff happen on the 4-hour, like right before the 4-hour candle closes. We could create a wick. Like for example, is there a good example of any time soon here? Like I think this is probably the closest example we can see when we created that wick on the 4-hour and then close under. 4-hour does come in clutch, so every time we do approach 11 PST, I would definitely start taking a look at that 4-hour, see what it does. We're still holding that bottom trend line on gold. Still haven't broke above median though. 1 minute's fully reset.
Even though it's not
On
touching
NQ,
the bottom.
Did you say that? Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead.
So since we are flattened out, we technically reset from the top to the bottom of the band. We're holding that R side low. Now when we break median, should be our next possible breakout on the 1. What did you say, Mr. Galaxy?
On NQ, since the 15-minute is like tightening up, or is it opening up, or is it?
It's deciding what to do. This is kind of those tricky scenarios where it's trying to open up, but it hasn't yet.
So would this be a possible like take profit area?
This would like if you're short, yeah, this is definitely trim area. Because what did we do with this 15? We created liquidity under this wick low. Technically, even though this closed like as a bearish candle, it didn't close under the key level here, so it's still close above it. Kind of got to see what this next 15 does. Hypothetically speaking, say that this next candle closes below there, the RSI is probably going to keep opening up, and then we'd probably come down to this RSI level like at 25.46, which would probably line up with this 499. Then we could probably take a lot along on there, have a tight stop under the wick low, like a 10-point stop, 490.
Kind of looking like it's picking up volume a bit.
Yeah, it's trying.
I could be tripping.
I'm gonna could just reset on Nas though.
I actually do have a question about RSI.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does it mean when the bands aren't necessarily like opening or, oh yeah, like opening, but it's sloping upwards or downwards?
So usually that's curling in, and it depends on the situation. Because when they're curling in, it could be for two reasons. It could be like because there's no volume, and it's just waiting for like buyers or sellers to step in, and usually that's when you get an overextension. Or two, it's just going to be a bullish or bearish reset. So say there's a big move up, big move down, you'll usually get overextended, and then the bands will try to curl back in because there's going to be chop, and when there's chop, that means there's low volume, so the bands will slowly curl in, and it'll basically make it easier for a price to reset. Like for example here, right? You can see we overextend, and then we kind of like start curling in here because volume dies out here, and then we curl in, and then we get our reset here. Oh my god.
Ooh, it's dumping.
Right on the break of those
This
lows.
might be the last stand at 711.9.
Yeah, right on the break of that trend line. Dump of doom and despair. So yeah, it actually looks, now it looks bearish. Reason being is, remember that divergence, break of that trend line, break of those lows. And that would probably be your short entry. Wait for a retest of this 713
So since we broke, would you wait? Yeah, would you wait for a retest on that one too?
Yeah. So technically this could create liquidity. Kind of just gotta wait and see, especially with this 1 minute being bottomed out and flattened out. I wouldn't chase
Yeah,
this.
it just broke a 1 minute RSI level. It has like a lot of touches too on either side.
Let's see. This is what happened yesterday when I got cooked. Created liquidity on that one and then reversed. Yeah. Let's see what this.
Yeah, that's
I
nice.
see it. I see it doing that bullshit because it just triggered my alert. If I would have entered there, I would have got fucked. Just instantly bounced.
But see, actually, think of it this way. So this is where a lot of people actually get tricked with that. If you're catching a breakdown like that, I know this is gonna sound like really like weird, but like say you have a limit order set, like the second it starts breaking down, you could literally just put a hard stop loss to break even if you're trying to play the breakdown. Because most of the time when those breakdowns do happen, it's like a straight dump, and it never hits your entry again. So you just kind of got to be really active and like do it quick, but it is risky to trade breakdowns. Because now that we got this candle, now it doesn't look as good, that short. So now it looks like we just created liquidity under here.
Good bounce. Ooh, that 5 minute. That was the liquidation candle.
Yeah. And if you notice that 1 minute, it like fell to fully open up. Break of that low.
Oh.
Yeah. Because say the RSI would have kept overextending. If this 1 minute would have closed under, the bands would have kept opening and the RSI would have kept overextending. But since that 1 minute got bought up quickly, remember the RSI is technically slightly delayed. It never fully opened up and overextended. When you see overextensions like this, it's usually when you get your full dumps. You can see right here, we never had buyers step in, and this whole time the band just kept opening up. In this case, same thing would have happened here. If no buyers would have stepped in, it just would have opened up, and the RSI would have kept overextending, and the bands would have opened up.
Also, it had originally broken that RSI level on the 1 minute, and it updated and it created a new bounce off that level.
That's why those closes are very key, and that's why that's where a lot of people do get tricked. Like chasing breakouts and breakdowns is one of the hardest ways to trade, because like a lot of times people will literally just get turned into liquidity at the top or bottom, and then they'll get stopped. But you kind of just gotta you gotta manage them right. It's one of the hardest things to do, honestly, because like you gotta be quick. Like in a situation like this, you would have been in and out of this trade like within a minute. But that's why I like top step. Honestly, it's really easy to drag your stop. It's OP, and you know you get stopped out. It's like you lose nothing. You lose absolutely nothing. It's just a break even trade. 5 minute median is actually trying to break now. Interesting. Especially after that liquidity.
Like damn, like that would have been a great long, like a lot of long.
Breaking that previous 5 minute highs. This one is breaking 1 minute.
Like almost a 7-point bounce.
It's nasty.
I guess the volume did pick up.
But yeah, I think that's about it for today. We'll grab something to eat. Damn, this could actually be a nasty long if we do break those highs. That's break of those highs is still valid for a long. That 15 is trying to fully bottom out. It's 5 minutes breaking median now. So we break these highs, that long is still technically valid. I just don't like how 5-minute trauma is really close now. But just 1 minute to break trauma. If you guys were to play this, what I would want to wait for is like a retest of trauma and hold and then enter off that. Just ban on the ones trying to open up as well.
So would you wait for the break of the highs, or would you wait for the retest or like break?
If you wanted an entry with confirmation, definitely wait for the break of the highs. If you want to take your entry like now, like I would almost even enter on the retest of the 716.2. Yeah, 716.2 lines up with 1 minute trauma. That would be a riskier entry though, because this 1 minute is trying to open up. But if it fails to do so, it could just technically top out at these highs again. But it does look like it wants to open up. And that 5 minute is breaking median. 15 minute median 15 minute is trying to get back inside the band. And we created that wick of doom. That's crazy. We bounced right at that previous wick low.
Yeah.
So if we break above those highs and then we get to trauma and we start chopping around trauma, would you just close?
No. If we start like around 5 minute trauma?
Yeah, 5-minute trauma.
Yeah, as long as we don't break that, like I'd say as long as we don't break back under like 715, I think it's still valid. This whole area. It would just kind of be hard to have a nice stop loss in this situation because like you kind of have a wide stop. If you wanted even a safer stop, you'd put it at this low, but then you'd at that case you'd be playing the full breakout, the whole breakout, like trying to catch this whole 15 minute. And you target probably the 725, 726.
And is that divergence on the 5 minute coming from those highs to where it's at now?
So this to this?
Or
what do you mean? Or do you mean like the trend line, like this bottom trend line?
Yeah, the trend line. Oh yeah. Wait, from the top of the RSI to the left, coming all the way to current price of the RSI.
This?
Top.
Oh, top.
Top of the left.
Top of the left. Like this?
Yeah.
It's not that clean, just because we had this overextension. I really wouldn't consider that a divergence. I feel like the divergence that was there was this one. That we ended up breaking to the downside. Then we got our overextension. So now this kind of is like, you really wouldn't look at any of this for now. It's still useful for RSI levels. So like you can see that 72 is pretty good RSI level. But I wouldn't like consider that a divergence.
Okay.
Would you consider the first divergence that you marked out?
This one.
Like,
you remember how I said it would only be valid if we break it, but we ended up holding it instead? It
yeah, right but here. Like the one where you marked out where price is lower, that RSI is high.
Oh, that I really wouldn't consider that. That's more so like just, this is like just price action. It's not like, since it's like just right here, it's like technically you are higher on the RSI than you previously were, and you are at the same spot. That is something to note, but we kind of just got to see what happens, because what could end up happening is we just reject at those highs, and then kind of just double top on the RSI. But I really wouldn't consider that like a divergence.
And then you said, think if price is a median, buyers are in control.
Yes.
If price is below median, sellers are in control. Right?
Most of the time, yes. In most situations, correct. Some situations it could just be like the RSI resetting, but like, yes. And you can see like right up until we broke median. You see how this was our biggest like buy candle in a minute. So buyers are trying to step in now. And if we do break these highs, I do think we could see 5-2, 5-2 or 7-2-1 area, and then 7-2-5, 7-2-6 area.
Damn, should we take this trade together?
Yeah, it's still looking pretty solid. I have got to go to the bathroom now.